This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klouse. Let's get started.
If anyone can talk a Balgarth out of a fight, it's you.
If anyone can keep us alive, it's you.
But if you ask me what my calling would be, I'd say that of a defender of my friends.
You don't need to change anything.
I would give my life to see them through.
I apparently only get into trouble when I'm around you lot.
I never want to have that kind of power over somebody.
She lands upon the deck, but just on her toes, like a dancer, like a ballet dancer, as if the weight of sin has yet to fall on her shoulders.
And the light of nature will be brought to them.
We haven't done this before. Does that make us professional?
That would make you amateurs at best.
At best, I like that.
I've had a hard time finding answers in my life.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Where are you from, Ezekiel?
Wherever your wife goes when she dreams, and I'll walk away.
Fuck you and fuck your will.
There's no redemption for the likes of you.
You were never loved as a child.
How do you want to do this? From the top, here we go.
Oi, Klouse, is that you?
Hey, it's me over here. Previously, after several days in the wilderness, the bronze scales came upon a way-stop inn, the Earth and Copper, though they found no rest here. After settling down for drinks, another loud patron asked someone to watch their nephew. A few moments later, tables were flipped as several ogres and a flying oni known as Bradazar ambushed the tavern, aiming to snag the drunken kid, Simonel. A few moments of intense battle passed with the ogres being defeated by the scales with help from an elven stranger. Bradazar Bradley was able to escape with the kid through the use of some magic quilt. The kid's uncle, who introduced himself as Marcy, wanted to get his nephew back and offered to pay handsomely for his return. Apparently, the kid, Simonel, was very important for some reason. After settling on a price, Marcy transported each of you into Faerie, the land of dreams. He appeared as a satyr here and explained the tale of Ruth's dowry along the way to the castle of Bradley and his brother Kairos. Here you all rushed across the fields under fire of arrows, storming up the stairs, and then across the long bridge to Castle Gadarak. Forming storm and stepping through thunder, you all pressed your way into the courtyard, Ball lifting your new elven friend Hunter over the wall as Calvin lifted the portcullis for the others. Down into the throne room, you rushed in to see Simonel reaching for the key to the castle to give to Kairos. Amson paralyzed the child from completing this task as another battle ensued. Summoning Storm, striking with weapon and spell, you leapt into battle against the brothers' dower, with Hunter raging into action. Kairos battled with a glaive of cold bone and his brother of red lightning. After Hunter took a few blasts of frozen ice, Calvin rushed in, thrusting with strikes of light, cutting down him, who erupted into ashes from the divine light, leaving only a mask and a glaive. Bradley rushed through the storm to take revenge upon his brother's death, but before he made it, Ellory called upon the storm to strike him down, scattering too into ash, which was swept away by the storm, leaving his own mask and glaive landing amongst his brothers. We come back to the story here. After exchanging coin and a business card with Marcy and collecting the glaives and mask, Marcy helped to transport you out of the land of Faerie. You awake amongst the grass outside of the Earth and Copper in the night. Sharing thanks, well wishes, and goodbyes with Hunter, she strides off into the wilds once more. You turn amongst yourselves when a strange feeling comes over you, like walking into a room but forgetting why you're there. Everyone give me a wisdom save. Those with Fey ancestry do so at advantage. Thank God I heard something.
That's a 24 for Vesper.
12 for Ezekiel.
And 19 for Ellory.
19 for Amson.
14 for Ball. Okay.
Are we presumably near Calvin?
Yeah, so you would all get plus 3. Jesus, Calvin. Go ahead and roll his.
Okay, I'm sorry, 27.
27?
Oof.
The vitriol from the DM
Y'all missed out on some real interesting stuff, I'll tell you that. That's okay. Some other interesting things will happen. Did anyone get... No one got below a 12. Did anyone get below a 16?
I did. He won the bonus.
Okay. So those of you who got a 16 or higher, you have hazy memories of what happened, but everything's intact. You remember the details of what happened, but it feels as if it happened months ago, during some drunken dream, but you can remember it. And Ezekiel, you said you got below 16?
15.
Okay. So you have hazy memories of what happened. You can pretty much remember everything, but there's something else too that really strikes in your mind. Give me a 1d6.
Is a 1 good?
Sure is. So you remember everything that happened, but you remember along the way to the castle, you were made a dare, and you kissed a fairy's bum, a fairy named Sella Applebottom, as a dare, and it would tasted like cherry chapstick.
I don't like this memory, but Ezekiel might.
And
Can you give me that name one more time? I'm going to write that down.
You betcha. So you guys all kind of stumble for a moment, kind of looking around before you kind of come back to picking up in the cool night. You can see in the distance, maybe 40 feet away or so, you can see the earth and copper in the night. The fire is glowing. Those low sound of music humming from outside.
Well, that was fucking weird.
Shall we go back inside and find Orizana and Meli?
Yes, let's do that. Then we have some coin to divide up, though maybe we should wait till we're in a room and not in the middle of the common room.
Yes.
What's that face?
That's a bad face. We go inside and we talk and we find Orizana and Meli? I don't...
Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. Let me figure this out. Okay. You know what?
I accidentally killed them off. I don't know how to undo it.
It's been 300 years since you guys left. So there.
So you guys walk in, open the door. You look in. You can see significantly less crowded. There's a few patrons at the bar. You can see the bartender behind, kind of cleaning drinks. He kind of looks up as you walk in. Hey, good to see you again.
Do we see Orizana and Meli anywhere?
Make a perception check, actually.
We left them? Yeah.
17 perception for me.
10.
7.
17 for Ball.
Okay. Looking around, you didn't see, kind of looking quickly outside, you don't see the horse tied up anywhere. Didn't see Orizana. She was hanging out with the horse out there. A quick glance inside, you don't see Meli or Orizana inside either.
I'll go up to the bar then. Where were the women we were with? The elf and the human?
I presume they're left with you. I'm not sure.
No, they were here waiting for us to come back.
Y'all left and I tried to find you afterward to thank you and thank you for helping. But I'm not sure where they went. I assume they left with you.
Where did you see them last?
A while ago. They left a while ago.
How long is a while ago?
Like a month and a half or so.
What?
Excuse me?
It was like a month and a half.
We were gone for, what, an hour? 2? Maybe?
I forget. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe last time I saw you was a couple months ago.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
What?
Alright, everybody calm down. Vesper. Shh, never mind. You can't do that right now. We'll find them. It's okay. Sir, we need a room for the evening. A couple, however many, we'll take care of it.
I have a couple available, but for your help, it's been time, but I can have 2 you can have for the night, for your charge.
Thank you. Alright, everyone upstairs. Let's talk this out.
Wait. I look at the bartender. Did they say where they were going? Did they mention a destination?
Yeah, yes, actually. And he kind of goes under the counter and then pulls out a note. They left a note
Oh, good.
And you open it up, and you see in Meli's handwriting that they waited for a while, about a month, and then they decided they'd go to Briarbridge.
Okay, we have to get to Briarbridge then.
We have to write home, too. Our families weren't supposed to be gone that long. If they haven't heard from us that we've gotten to 9 minutes, if they haven't, oh my god.
Yeah, we'll deal with all of that. I'm not sure they were expecting to hear from us this soon anyway, given the travel times involved.
Everything will be fine. You're all right now. We're back. We'll find them. Give me... How far away are we from Briarbridge?
You're a few days. You're maybe 3-4 days.
How about as the bird flies?
As the bird flies? Probably 2.5.
All right. If we take a night's rest, I might be able to at least get a message to Meli. And I know the way to Briarbridge fairly well.
We can afford a night.
Yeah.
He goes upstairs, unlocks 2 rooms for you, and kind of shows you the room. And leaves you that. If you need anything, just let me know. Before he goes downstairs again, leaving you upstairs in these 2 rooms. Not luxurious, but clean and well kept.
Is this why you were worried about the Fae?
Well, I guess this is one reason to be worried about the Fae.
Is this normal, Ezekiel?
I can't say I've spent much time in Faerie. The elders of my order may know more about it, but I honestly hadn't had much dealings with it until I went to that circle in Severwind. But, yes, we lost some time. And in short order, we'll be able to make things right. We'll find Orizana and Meli.
Okay.
We should rest quickly, so you can get your message out.
Who all needs healing? I can help a bit.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I look to the tanks.
Ball definitely looks bruised, but he'll say, it's okay, I think we're safe here. We should be able to take our time and rest, even in the morning. What time of day is it right now, Klouse?
You're not sure exactly. It's nighttime, though.
Okay.
Maybe we should take a look at some of these items we picked up.
Yeah, I can do that quickly. Well, not quickly, but I can do that. So, obviously the 2 masks and the 2 glaives I'm going to identify. I'm also going to ask Vesper for her griffin feather. The white one.
It's a feather. Whatever, knock yourself out, you do what you want with your time.
Vesper, when you reach in to grab the feather, you find there are 2 of them. Both white, they look identical.
I stand corrected.
And Ellory, didn't you pick something up from the saddlebags?
Yeah, there's this thing, this pyramid thing. It looks like it might be some kind of, I don't know, puzzle or something.
Alright, I'll look at that while I'm doing it anyways.
Which one? Go ahead.
And, something I meant to ask about this earlier, but I wonder if one of you who can do this, I don't know who can do what anymore, could take a look and see if any of the stuff that we got from Daphne's little camp might have magic on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so which is first?
Let's go with the masks first.
Okay, so piling this stuff and beginning to one by one go over these things. The mask.
I think there were 2, like a red one and a white one, is that right? Or was it red and blue?
Yeah, there was a white and then like a copperish color. And I'm about to show you what they basically look like.
Ooh.
So the Oni mask, you see these mask of bone as hard as metal, depicts a humanoid face with a growling expression, 2 large horns curving up and 2 massive tusks and fangs piercing out of the snarl. The bone of each mask is the primary color. One is sort of a copper or bronze. Each is inscribed with a swirling ornamentation. The other one is like almost bleached white. They are accented by the bone horns, tusk, and lines along the cheekbones. The bronze is of black horns and fangs, and the white is of almost a copperish or a gold color. And what they do is this. And I'll send that just to Amson here. Which one's next for you, Amson? And I'll go ahead and get it.
I'll do the glaives next.
Yeah. Okay. So looking upon the glaives, both are long. Both are nearly 7 feet long, with these dark wooden handles and blades of a similar bone as hard as metal. The handles are wrapped in reddish leather, and there is inscriptions upon the blade part. You can see it. I'm not sure if you know Sylvan.
No, but I know Elven. I know it's kind of similar.
It's not Elven, but it looks similar to Elvish. And what was after? So you have the 2 masks, you have the 2 glaives.
After that, I'll do the pyramid.
Okay. And then were there any others?
And then the feathers after that. I'll do the feathers last.
Okay. All right.
And I'll just share this with everybody else. So there's the masks. Ball, you'll find that one interesting. I'll just...
Do both masks do the same thing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, alright.
And then there's the glaives.
So it's like a set item, set bonuses.
Right? It's like Diablo 2 set items.
I like it.
Just gonna point out, I don't know that you, being a giant-ish person, wants to interact with something that has a tendency to turn giants into Onis. Because Onis are bad.
Both me, myself, and Ball don't understand the historical reference. I don't know. Should I Google this? Or is this Ezekiel telling Ball? In that case, Ball will ask you.
Well, Ball, I believe those creatures that we fought, those large, giant-like creatures, if what Amson's saying about this mask is true, I think they were Oni.
And was that Ball's first time seeing an Oni?
Very likely, yes.
Okay. Yeah, maybe in that case, I guess what makes an Oni different from a giant? In appearance, for example. Or maybe Ball will just ask Ezekiel, and what is an Oni? Those are the only 2 I have ever seen.
Same as me, I'm simply going off of what the mask can do. It seems that if it transforms a giant into an Oni, presumably they were that, and they did not appear to be friendly or kind. I worry about anything that has the ability to turn one thing into another. I wouldn't want you to be anything other than you, Ball.
I completely agree with that.
This is Roger going, but the stats, they're so good.
I'm not going to stop you from making any decisions. I'm just saying be careful. And if any of us, particularly Vesper, starts to recognize anything off, you're going to listen to us, or we will make you. Understand?
That's what friends are for.
Please don't make us make you.
Ball will kind of pick up one of the masks. I guess the more coppery one. Does that kind of seem, Klouse, does that seem kind of like the same color as the flame-related Oni glaive?
Yeah, it does have similar colors.
Okay, so I think Ball will pick up that the copper tinted Oni mask and say, I will have to think about it. And then he'll pick up the glaive that matches it and say, but I think this is safe for me to use. It's finally something that is my size. I mean, kind of very small sword with a very long handle.
Well, feel free to try it out sometime, Ball.
We should get some rest, though. We need to send a message to Meli.
Aye.
Right, what else do we have? That pyramid?
I just sent it to Ellory, but she can feel free to share it if she wants.
So it's some kind of puzzle box, and it has a divine holy symbol of a god known as the Chimera? I don't know who that is.
Do I know who that is?
You can either take 10 on a religion or roll a religion check.
I'll take 10 because that gives me an 18.
Sure. This god is primarily known as Rasarab. It is a illusion, mischief, puzzle god who tests mortals to see if they are worthy. Also known for holding many secrets and a lot of knowledge and valuables that they reward with their followers if they're able to pass their test. He's visualized as many things, sometimes a cat man, sometimes a robed figure with several arms. You see depictions of him are numerous and frequently varied.
I will let the others know this.
Huh. Interesting.
And then regarding the feathers, Amson will just go, Vesper, can you step outside with me for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Amson will take the 2 feathers, now 2 apparently, and he'll say, there's nothing really specially magic about them, to be perfectly honest, but, if I were you, I'd keep them close. Take care of them.
Okay, I was.
There's something there that I think is important.
Okay. So I come back in my jacket next to my heart.
I wanted to apologize.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've been around, but I haven't been around lately.
I noticed, yeah, about a week. Technically months now, actually, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alright, apology accepted. I start to head back to the room.
Vesper, please. Can I just talk to you for a moment?
Sure.
If you think that I'm mad at you, I'm not. If
Good to know.
You think that I think any less of you, I don't. I'm not mad about anything. I'm just confused is probably the best word. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, I do. I feel like shit, Amson. And you know, Calvin and Ezekiel were really helpful to me not feeling like shit. Because they actually had conversations with me. Which was great.
Yeah.
And really helpful.
Yeah, and I didn't.
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry. I know that I'm the voice of optimism in this group a lot of the time. I'm the voice of encouragement, voice of comfort, and I wasn't.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And I'm sorry. But if you give me the chance, I'd like to do that now.
Alright. Go ahead.
So, you know how Aine became the goddess of redemption, right?
I do. Very well.
She lost everything. And she had to do it all on her own. She prayed to every single one of the gods, but none of them would help. They were silent for her. But even though you find yourself in a similar situation, you don't have your powers anymore. But you do have the help of all of us. You're not alone. And maybe in some indirect way, you've still got the help of Aine. You've got the help of Olisol through Calvin. You've got the help of, 4 different gods in this group? 5 other people? More if Meli's here when we get back to her. You're not alone.
I know that. And I never felt alone or abandoned by any of you. Well,
yeah.
I never felt alone or abandoned. That's not the point. And that's not why I'm...
Vesper, I don't think that Aine's left you. Not entirely, at the very least. You've got Bull. Maybe to some extent you've got me. But I think you've always got her close. And I think if you just do everything you can to keep Aina as close to you as you can, she'll come back.
Well, I'll try that then.
Amson's gonna fish through his shirt and take off his silver holy symbol, and he'll start putting it around Vesper's neck.
She'll let him.
You don't look right without a holy symbol on. And besides, I think silver fits the aesthetic a bit more.
Can I tell you why I'm mad, since we're talking about our emotions?
Sure.
I just wanted you to say something. I didn't need it to be comforting or the right thing. I just needed you. You know, we've been so close lately, ever since Ellory left and was in prison, and it was kind of just us. And there are things you know about me that no one else does, and vice versa. And I just really thought that I could always rely on you, and it was kind of a punch in the gut that you were just quiet.
Yeah. I failed you. And I'm sorry. Amson's going to take Vesper's hand.
She was actually just reaching for his.
And he's going to hold her hand with both hands and say, I'm not going to do that again. And if you ever need me ever again, let me know.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks for giving me another chance.
That's what I'm good for.
Alright, maybe we should return back to everybody
They're
else.
probably gonna wonder where we are. Yep. Let go of his hand and get back into the room.
So, while you were outside with the others, were you all doing anything?
Disco party. Probably just, I think Ball is preparing the beds, just trying to get us ready so that way we're not sitting around too long the next day. And once he's done that, he sits down and starts having a short rest to kind of patch up his wounds.
Okay.
And I've just been sitting there kind of staring at my own face in my mirror and looking at what's changed.
That's a good point. Is it obvious that something has changed?
I think not initially, but after, you guys are preparing for bed and you're done patching your wounds and you finally have a moment to just sit, I think maybe you notice Ellory looks different. So I think it was, 7, 8 years?
8 years.
Yeah. She's not graying hair or anything like that, but, the smile lines or crow's feet are starting to form. She looks a little bit grown into herself. But it could just be from the battle,
Yes, maybe before Ball goes to patch himself up, he'll, once he's gotten everything ready, he'll look over to Ellory and say, Ellory, you should get some rest. You look like you need sleep.
Yeah, I get the feeling I'm going to keep looking like I need sleep. This is not just me being tired, I think. I think the magic did something.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure. I felt something at one point when we were fighting. You know how how sometimes weird things happen when I use my magic? Like the music. Or like when I shrank.
Oh, nice.
I think something happened. I'm not sure. Maybe I just need some rest. Maybe you're right and I should sleep.
I think many strange things happened in that world we came from. Maybe we should get some rest and we can make sense of everything afterwards.
Yeah.
Maybe Meli will know.
Speaking of making sense of things, I noticed that you and I can do some of the same things.
I think we do it in different ways, though.
Yeah. Like, that thing with the thunder, that was pretty fucking cool.
Yes, I think you did it better than I did that time. And Ball's like kind of like rubbing his knees that have like, I don't know, like carpet burn from the cliff facing that he scraped down and fell down.
Well, you were carrying somebody else. I was only carrying myself.
I think we are all getting more impressive every day.
Impressive, yeah. Maybe more dangerous in some cases.
I think danger seems to follow us. I kind of like that we're the ones that are more dangerous instead of others being more dangerous around us.
I definitely prefer it that way.
Paul kind of just like looks off in the distance and is like, I think I'd like to visit that cave again one time. Return the favor.
Yeah. You do that, I go with you. You know, you've been doing a lot of new things lately.
Yes, I think Yain has been nice to me, good to me. Don't know if I have deserved it, but I will try to do the best that I can with what she has given to me.
I don't know if deserving has anything to do with anything. People deserve things that they don't get and get things that they don't deserve. All the time. But if anyone deserves good things, you do.
Ball kind of looks around. Maybe this is around the time where you guys are opening the door to come back in. And Ball says, well, I think I'm surrounded by good things. You should get some rest.
Yeah, you too.
And then that's when the door finishes, like, creaking open.
And in walks Amson and Vesper as you'll begin to settle down, get ready to sleep in the 2 rooms. There is not a bed that will fit Ball, but you can kind of push a table to the side and make room enough on the floor that's comfortable enough. And unless there's something else, you guys find rest, find yourself tired physically, emotionally, and find quick rest that night. Waking up the next morning, the sun coming in through the windows. You can see outside the wind blowing through the trees, a warm wind as the next day begins.
All right. So first thing in the morning, I will run outside and try and see if I catch sight of a sparrow or any kind of tiny bird and cast Animal Messenger. And I'm going to do it just in case at 4th level, which should give me 5 days out of the bird to make it to Meli.
Okay. And is this an official spell?
Yes, it's in the chat. It has target beast travels for the duration of the spell towards the specified location. I can specify a red-haired woman, and if they describe any kind of the scarf that Meli has. So I'll give that. So it's going to circle around Briarbridge and look for Meli. Can go 50 miles per 24 hours, and it delivers a 25-word message in my voice.
Okay. So as a little sparrow, you kind of call it down, it lands on your finger. And as you describe Meli, what message do you want it to carry?
Meli, Bronze Scales lost time in Faerie. Sorry. We'll be in Briarbridge within a week. Meet at Briarbridge Inn. Look to the sky.
The sparrow takes off north and a little bit east.
I'll turn to the others. It should get there a couple days before we do. At least she'll know that we're there and looking. It's the best I can do.
That's assuming she's still there.
Well, hopefully. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Is there a road by this inn that we can take that'll make it faster, or is cutting across the woods the fastest?
There is a road, actually. Cutting through the woods it might be a little faster, but there's actually a road that more or less goes directly. You have to go east a bit because you're following along the river, and then you cross the river and then head north towards Briarbridge. So it's probably faster to take the road.
All right, so we'll take the road.
Okay. It just for meta reasons, it matters less, like barring encounters and animals and stuff. It matters less when you're on foot, but especially if like you're on horses, the road is way faster. But yeah, do you guys gather your stuff? Anything else you want to do before you leave and head out?
Oh, I do want to quickly talk to the bartender.
So do I.
Okay, so before, as you're gathering your stuff, you kind of are downstairs.
And so I go up to him. Hey, so this may be a long shot since we kind of were delayed getting back, but I was planning to ask you when we arrived here if a few days before the first time you saw us, maybe a rider might have come through, and I describe the rider that we saw carried off by the griffin.
I don't remember seeing anyone of that description. Sorry if that was another friend of yours.
No, it's fine. I figured it was a long shot anyway.
If there's anything that you need for the road?
Quickly, just, you talked to the travelers coming through here, of course. What's the news on the invasion from Western?
Well, it ended, sort of. The last I heard, the Queen marched in to Asmazaros. The Western is a war nation, and they lived up to their reputation. Stomped right through the countryside. The elves are known for magical prowess. However, I heard, and this is just rumor, that their magics didn't work on her. That spells just failed around her, did nothing. I don't know if it's because of her ancestry or something else, but when they marched into the city, the Lunmari took the city away. They disappeared. As I understand it, it's a defense mechanism. Last I heard, the humans of Western and the Queen considered it more or less a victory, as they stood in an empty valley with the elves gone. I heard they've been rebuilding their fortress up on the coast as a monument. I don't know much more than that.
But it should be safe to travel without running into soldiers?
This far east, yes. I think some Lunmari stopped by here a few months ago trying to recruit people who are on their way to Briarbridge, but that was some months ago. I don't foresee any intense problems.
Good, thank you.
Of course.
Are they still occupying any of the cities on the coast, as far as you've heard?
As far as I understand it, yes. They are still occupying some of them, though a good amount of their soldiers, I believe, have headed back to Western. They are occupying a few cities, actually. Andera, for one. They've also taken the city above that. The other villages have more or less been left alone. For Serene, that's it. That's where they're building. Supposedly they used to have a fortress there, and they're rebuilding it in the Queen's name. So those two are the major cities that are being held. The other smaller villages have been more or less left alone. Still tense, but the Ebolzian were never that enthusiastic about the war. Do you need any rations or beverages on your trip, or any other questions?
Rations might be good.
Might be good to fill up on rations.
Okay. I think 1 silver for some dried meats. There's also some mushrooms, some like dried mushrooms that Mace the dwarf grows and dries.
Ooh, we can do something with this.
Yes.
He probably has like 10 available. So as much as you want, he'll sell them to you. Anything else before y'all say farewell and head out? Okay. So you head out, you get up on the road, and actually on a road this time. As you're traveling, do you guys go at a normal pace, fast, slow?
Probably fast, right, guys?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think we're trying to hurry.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't need to navigate because you're just following the road. Give me all of y'all. Oh, it's no fun. So you'll have a couple days ahead of you. You can probably lower it down to 3 days, traveling fast and still getting rest. You can probably lower it down to 2 if you don't sleep through the night, you're going to get exhaustion levels. But you can lower it down to 2 if you, don't sleep.
Well, we sent a message ahead, so I think we don't need to go that fast.
3 days sounds good. Right?
Yeah. I think Ball would argue that, if they waited a month and a half, they can wait an extra day.
Okay. So you head out traveling along the roads. You head north until you see the river as it flows, snakes curving back and forth. You follow the road to the right, heading east on the south bank of the river, going against the grain of the river. You follow that for about half a day until you get to an older bridge. At that point, everyone give me perception checks at disadvantage. As you're all sweating, you are power walking, hauling all this goods, material, gear, equipment, and just pushing forward.
13.
16.
12.
8.
2. How'd you roll those 8s, Ezekiel?
Double natural ones.
Amazing. So anybody, I believe 12 and up. As you're coming closer to the bridge, you see some movement down south of the bank.
Hold up. There's something moving.
That brings back memories.
No kidding.
Something's under the bridge there, or in the bank at least.
How far away is this?
I'm pointing it out. It's maybe 60 feet ahead on the left. You see there's some tall grasses that are kind of blocking some of it, but you can kind of see movement beyond that. Moving water. Shape.
Do we want to investigate, or do we want to go around?
Probably best to go over the bridge. Do we want to try and spy on it, or should I just call out?
I don't think we're going to do a great job of staying hidden.
I kind of like the power move of just yelling at it and being like, hey, bruh.
Yeah.
So be it. I'll step forward and kind of call out, good sir, are you a bridge troll?
No, I'm not. As you kind of see a figure kind of looking over the grasses, shirtless, wet. He kind of moves out. Give me just a minute.
Oh, yep, of course.
Them rustling, and eventually he kind of comes out like wet, matted hair, brown. He kind of sloshes back, water dripping down his back. A kind of rough, puffy beard that's smoothed down by the wet water. Looks human, maybe 5'10", 5'11", pretty slender, wearing just simple rags of clothes. Hey, name's Sock. How are you?
Good. How are you? Divine sense. Okay.
I'm just washing down by the river. Could I interest you in some coffee?
Sure.
Coffee sounds fantastic.
Fantastic. Come along. And he kind of guides you over and kind of parked hidden behind a bush in a tree, out of sight from the road. There is a mule and a modified chariot. And upon it, there's a little bit of a bar, and he kind of pulls out some tools. Crushes some beans up and begins to make coffee. So, have you had a good day today? I hope so. A bit sweaty, it's hot out.
It's not that bad. We discovered we are very late to meeting our friends yesterday, and so we're trying to rush to catch up with them.
Always rushing, that's me, for sure. It's 5 copper each. Nothing like a good coffee break to get you rejuvenated, make you feel ready for the next leg of your journey. Where you headed?
Before Ezekiel answers in Giant, I'm just going to say to Ball real quietly, can you detect poison and disease in this? Just to make sure.
From the corner of his eye, Ball kind of looks in Vesper's direction, and then looks back at his drink, and then casts detect poison and disease.
Okay. Let's see if it's obvious,
I will say Ezekiel is already drinking.
Yeah, it's verbal, somatic, and material. So you'd have to kind of walk away from them to be.
Well, maybe while Ezekiel is having the conversation with him, Ball will just kind of, kind of turn to the side and just try to not be a part of the conversation and check it.
Make either a deception check or a sleight of hand check as you do speak verbal words, you do somatic little finger movements, and you use either a holy symbol or a yew leaf, your choice.
That's a 21. It's my, I guess my background where it lets me do it once a day.
Okay. So your heritage, your eyes spark, burn just for a moment, and you detect no poison or disease with this coffee.
Then I'll turn around and say, thank you for the coffee. And then I'll start by cheersing Vesper, and then go around cheersing people.
Of course. I have some milk too. It's pretty cold. But anyway, where you heading? All right, that's fine.
North, just north.
Just on.
Sure, that's fine. I'm heading north too, heading to Briarbridge.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll be sharing the road, so we'll wait. I'll look at them like, come on, people.
Well, Old Willie isn't too fast, so, that's all right. We'll get there in time. All good on the road here.
This is an interesting setup you have.
It's mobile. It's mobile. I like that. Like being able to move around, Anyway, it's always good to have some conversation. It's okay if you don't want to talk. I know sometimes you just want to take a moment, drink your coffee, and he just will keep rambling the whole time. You're drinking your coffee.
After a while, and everybody is done. Well, good sir, we are going to take off. Thank you very much. We are in a rush to catch up with our friends. We are literally months late. So I hand him back his coffee cup. It has 10 gold in it. And I'm going to, put his hand over it so he doesn't see it immediately. And, we're all going. We're going now.
Okay. So you do so, stacking your cups and begin trudging on.
Y'all know, though, that Calvin was meeting him word for word this whole time, right? Especially we've given Calvin coffee.
Oh, God. No, so this is literally us pulling them away from each other.
Yes.
Calvin is literally, jogging in circles around y'all, just hyped up and energetic as you guys take off.
Before we do, does he look like he's very, he is full, all raggedy and not very well off?
He's in he's not in rags. He's in kind of standard clothes that are a little dirty, but nothing crazy.
And he's coming with us more or less, or?
You guys leave. He's not in a hurry. He's not in a hurry. He doesn't leave immediately.
So before I do, mine's going to be a little bit more overt, but Ball totally would have done something along the same lines as Ezekiel. And Ball would just kind of take a handful of gold, not a lot, maybe somewhere between 5 and 10, so 7 gold, and just be it was very generous of you to offer us coffee.
Yeah, no problem, man. That's what I do. I appreciate that. I appreciate the tip. Anytime. You see me, just wave me down. I'll get you a cup next time. Out that.
And then Ball destroys that accent with a swift swing of his blade. No, and then Paul kind of wishes him well. May AIE watch over you.
Yeah, sure. Same with you, man. Yeah, have fun with AIE and stuff.
All right, let's apply some of this extra energy to the road.
Okay, so it didn't slow you down too much. You guys get back on the road, stopping the next day for rest. Someone give me a survival check or a perception check. No, survival at disadvantage. Whoever's kind of leading the camping on the subsequent days.
All right, I got it. 15.
Okay. You notice as you're setting up camp, there are some tracks in the area. They're bipedal, heavy. It's unclear if they are wearing armor or not, and they're probably a few days old, but there's something in the vicinity. Or someone in the vicinity as you kind of make camp off the road the first night.
Is there anywhere with cover?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're able to find cover.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get us covered as best we can.
Okay.
I don't really have anything to help.
Okay. So next night goes by, or next day goes by similar as you're rushing through. Next night comes. Go ahead and, Ezekiel, give me 2 more disadvantage survival checks. And you guys are free, if you're talking around the fire or anything like that, just feel free to stop me.
Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this now. On one of the evenings, maybe when we're wrapping up dinner or something like that, I am going to Actually, I think maybe on the first day, I'm going to turn to Ball and say, hey, speaking of new abilities, there's something that I think I figured out how to do, and I want to try it out.
Ball raises an eyebrow.
And I stand up, and I sort of raise both of my hands in a motion like I'm lifting something up into the air, and cast Enlarge on myself.
So as you raise your hands, you stretch. And what's your height? 5'5"?
5'2".
5'2"? So what, you double, so you're 10'4"?
10'4", which should make me 3 inches taller than Ball.
As Ellory.
Ball goes kind of wide-eyed. And he says, wow. I've never seen anyone taller than me before.
This is pretty interesting. So I kind of look around over the rest of the group. Is this what we all look like to you all the time?
Ball chuckles and he nods and he said, and as he's like trying to straighten his back out so he can like look at Ellory's head, I'm not used to standing straight. It's a little uncomfortable to talk to you.
I don't know how long this is going to last, so before this runs out, one thing that I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I give him a proper hug.
Ball does that like awkward thing where you don't expect the hug to come, so you're just like, yeah. And for the listeners, it's just, I'm sure the listeners know what it's like when it's just, you get a hug and then I guess I assume Ellory kind of hugs and traps both my arms in the hug. Is how Ball pictures it, and then Ball slowly tries to make his arms hug as well, and it just kind of doesn't say anything.
Because you'll have 2 giants in your party for 10 minutes.
Well,
I'm trying to think of what a cool thing a giant can do is. Was that a sentence?
Hey, want to arm wrestle?
Bend trees back.
Paul's like, you may be bigger, but I don't think that you are stronger than me.
Oh, I have no illusions that I'll win.
I think it would be fun. And then we look for some tree stump that is 7 or 8 feet tall. Yeah.
Yeah, you look around and you find a rock, actually, a boulder that's large enough. It's about the right height. You kind of have to get on your knees to be able to make it work. As you guys set up, go ahead and give me an athletics check. Each of you.
13 for
5.
Ellory, do you have advantage because of Enlarge?
Do I? I have advantage on strength checks.
Yeah, so add advantage.
Okay.
So instead of a 5.
17.
Ball grips, and there's a stalemate at first, but then Ellory slowly pulls him back. Go give me another check. As Ellory has Ball about halfway down.
15.
Sorry, this is athletics check, right?
Athletics.
Yeah. 21.
Ball strains, putting his weight into it in the shoulders, and comes back to the center.
You're stronger than I thought. Uh-huh.
You got this, Ball. You can do it.
Go give me another.
So maybe I look over and get distracted by Vesper.
11 this time.
Ellory is just barely beginning to push Ball back. Go give me another one.
Maybe I can win this one.
To the bottom.
19.
Ball refocuses and you see kind of just his eyes kind of almost like flame on just briefly, where he's like, where he starts to get a little competitive and doesn't want to lose.
Okay, so the flame's kind of out in his eyes as Ball brings you back to the center. Both of you have been straining for a number of seconds here, and your arms are beginning to tire. You'll give me another one here.
8.
22.
Ball comes and has Ellory just barely off the rock. Give me one more.
16.
Natural 20.
The flame's kind of out of his eyes just a moment.
Ball starts clapping.
Shake out my arm.
That was very impressive. Much stronger than I expected.
Gonna have to have a rematch at some point.
I think so. I guess giants are stronger than I thought.
I will ruffle his hair.
And as you finish that, you shrink back down to your 5'2" self, near his waistline.
It's basically a back scratch. Starts with the hair and just ends up scratching down my back.
Taking this respite, you guys sleep, wake up again, continue the next day. Ezekiel, the second night, looking around, you don't notice anything. The third day, you're traveling along and you again notice some of these tracks crossing the road. This time you can see they are armored and they're heavy, probably not humanoid. Or if they are, they're big. You're guessing their weights average 250. All of them. There's not one that's lighter than maybe 250, just ballparking based on the depth of the footmarks as you're getting within half a day's travel to Briarbridge.
We should keep an eye out for bugbears, I think.
Think we should slow down?
Yeah. That might be best.
Okay. Slowing down for the last kind of half day. You guys continue to push on down the road. Eventually you enter in a forest. And looking around you, Ezekiel, you see the familiar leaves of gold and orange and reds of the withered woods.
For the record, probably for the last day or so, Ezekiel has been kind of twitchy and not as friendly and happy as he normally is, and is kind of shaking as we get through this grove.
Are you alright, Ezekiel? Look, like you need to sit down.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll be fine. We're almost to the city. I can just point out right where that inn is, and we'll be in and out and on our way back to the grove.
I was going to ask if I believe him about nothing being wrong, but I don't think I need an insight check to figure that one out.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
well,
come on.
Maybe we should, catch lunch. We're going to get there around a good mealtime. So
yep, whatever whatever y'all want to do, of course. That's just fine.
Ezekiel, what's going on? You know somebody here?
You could say that.
You in trouble here?
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
I just haven't been home in a long time.
Home?
And I did not part. Well, presumably, there were no real goodbyes, but I assume my actions were reported and not well received. But just never stopped in to check.
Wait, how long has it been since you've been home?
6 or 8 years or so.
Ezekiel.
Ah.
That's a long time.
Yep.
Well, do you want to avoid talking to anybody you know? Family, I'm presuming?
Yeah, we don't have to go there. Don't worry, they live off in their own little pot. We can get to the inn, no problem. I'll be fine. I mean, I doubt anybody would recognize me at this point.
You're pretty recognizable.
Yep. Realizing that as I said it, it's fine. You know what? I'll be fine. And I turn into a squirrel.
Ezekiel?
And while Ezekiel's turning into a squirrel, Paul's ruffling through his bag and pulls out the Oni mask and then turns around and is like, maybe you can put this on. And then looks down at the tiny squirrel. Okay, maybe not.
Well, I guess Ezekiel doesn't want to be talking about this anymore.
Fair. Ezekiel, if you want to stay outside the city, we can go get Meli and Orizana and we can leave again. Pull Birch Grove.
Actually, I do pop back into human form. I forgot I was gonna do a thing before we do that, but I may stay in animal form while we're in there. Just, I don't think now's the time. Besides, we gotta get Orizana back to my grove. We'll have to pass this way out and back this way on the way to Naminet. Anyway, better time. Won't be in so much of a rush. Anyway, we're close enough to the city where if I sky right something, it would be visible by the citizens?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're beginning to pass through the Briarlands, which are sort of the outskirt farms of these briar bushes that grow these flowers that can be used for making dyes. There's a number of plantations kind of that have been grown within this forest of ever autumn woods.
So I will look up to the sky and kind of just try and form the clouds into that kind of triangle scale and put a B on it so that if Meli looks up, she'll know we're making our way there. And it's like non-threatening as possible. Like
a dark omen.
There's like a kitty sticker in the corner. Looks like a cloud.
Like little hearts.
Yeah, like I want it to still look enough like a cloud that like someone could go like, oh, that's really weird, but Meli, who's seen me do this before, would be like, that's a little too on the nose. Plus she's smart, right, guys?
And while that's happening, Ball will be kind of talking to the party and say, we should give Ezekiel a nickname so that they don't recognize his name. I don't know the names, though. He doesn't like Zeke.
How about Fluffy?
Yes. Ezekiel would be my pet squirrel, Fluffy.
Presumably he's in the midst of his like wind dance right now, and you just see a glare as he's chanting.
Quick question. What do we want to do about arriving at a city with a giant?
Some of us should go ahead first, and I'm thinking that should be you and me, because we're the most normal looking people.
DM, would I know how racist my town is?
You would know they don't often see giants. It's not something they're used to, and they would probably freak out a little bit.
Okay.
They're pretty open-minded, but they don't see things like this often.
Perhaps if you talk to the gate guards before they see Ball that he's going to come, we'll introduce him so that they are prepared before they see a giant walking towards the gate.
And we should mention Vesper as well, since she's a little less intimidating, but still.
Yeah, we can mention our compatriots that are traveling with us. We just figured that we arrive ahead of them, just to give word.
And you can tell them that I am friendly and I have a pet squirrel named Fluffy. And then I look to Ezekiel.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay. So as you edge closer and closer to the city, finishing the skyride, you begin to pass more and more people. You can see people working in these plantations of bushes with numerous flowers of various colors, reds and oranges and yellows and blues and vibrant greens. You see mules drawing small carriages of crates and produce. And you notice the citizenry, most of the people you see are wearing very vibrant clothing of bright colors, tunics of bright colors, hats of dyed colors. And you notice it seems to be fairly fashionable. A lot of them have coonskin hats or fox skin hats in the Daniel Boone style. You notice the citizenry, these mostly farmers now, are kind of eyeing you as they see Ball and the rest of you kind of marching towards the city.
Is Ezekiel in squirrel form?
I would say the first time someone presumably he's got his hood up, but the first time someone looks too close, he's going to go squeeze next to Ball and become a squirrel.
Okay. Yeah, and at that moment is probably when you see what looks like the Briar Guard. A few of the city guard are kind of heading in your direction. Looks like there's 4 of them. They're heading in your direction as you transfer into a squirrel. And as they approach, that's where we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back at 10.
Next time on Back to the Story.
I met the girl once. She's still working here as far as I can tell. I wouldn't happen to know an Ezekiel de Barbarat. You could have.
I could have, but I didn't. And every day has been beautiful since. As you can see, running away from your problems does not work out very well.
When you see God's rest surrounded by armies, then know that his desolation has come near.
For part 2 of this episode of Back to the Story, you can find it on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.